girl Victoria, back to you with another review for Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 12, called Getting to the Crust. Clint is the reason for literally all of these titles for all episodes of this season. But I'm not gonna lie. At the end of the episode, we was getting to the crust. We was getting to the crust with Shaquille and Kirsten, but we're going to have to wait till the end of the review for that. But we're going to start off with 24 days until decision day. You know how it is. After they pass 30 days, it's a count up to 30 days. And then once we get to the 30 days, it's a countdown to decision day. So we're starting off with Nicole, Chris, and Nicole's dad, Mark. They go to do goat yoga. This is really a thing. I know you guys had it on season 13, Houston with Jose and Rachel. There we go. I had to remember their names. Jose and Rachel. But like, this is really, like, they really be doing this in different cities and different states. Don't ever bring me to go yoga, okay? I'm just gonna tell you right now. Listen, I'm not gonna be distracted and them jumping on my back. I'm not gonna be able to focus to do these poses, downward go and all that stuff. So please, y'all want to do go yoga, by all means. The go is cute and everything, but they be pooping at like no warning. They'll just poop. All these pebbles just gonna fall out their buttholes. They're gonna be on my back. I ain't trying to have that happen. So, okay, they did the go yoga. After they did the yoga, they sat down to talk. And I guess Mark tells Chris that, he can call him dad because Chris earned his respect. Chris said the same thing, that I guess the dad earned his respect too. Okay, cool. We all kumbaya. Cool. We then move on to Dr. Pepper. This episode, she's sitting down with all the remaining couples to discuss how things are going thus far, how they can improve on their relationship. So hopefully they can say yes on decision day. So it won't be yet another season of disappointment, which it probably will be. Okay, so she first starts off with Shaquille and Kirsten to sit down with. Of course, they're talking about how their relationship is going thus far. And I'm just looking at their outfits. I'm like, okay, either you guys about to go to church after you sit down with Dr. Pepper, or you just coming back from church, because it was given very much so, maybe not pastor and first lady of the church, but definitely like we go to the church every Sunday. We're part of the congregation. We give our tithes that's the vibes I was getting, which was cute. But I'm like, y'all, if y'all really don't be doing that, like, you don't gotta do all this dress up to, go, okay, but we're gonna get to the conversation with Dr. Pepper. So after they're talking about how the relationship is going thus far, Dr. Pepper wants Kirsten to open up. So Kirsten does open up a little bit, explaining that, ever since her parents split up, it did make her more closed off because, she had to go from house to house. So it's just like, I don't personally feel like she ever really got over that hump. I think deep down inside, she kind of still feels like a little kid. So, it's still that PTSD, that trauma in her that's, causing her to have the guards up. And I'm pretty sure through life experiences, that's also other reasons that there's added layers to her walls that are so high for high, that are skyscraper high. But, at least she did open up a little bit. And I think Shaquille was appreciative of that. But also because of the fact that her walls were so high and that she did judge Shaquille from the get-go, towards the point where she was starting to become open to the marriage, so to speak. These are my words. Shaquille started to get closed off because he was just over her, always critiquing him. He couldn't do nothing right. So he felt like, man, why am I going to try this relationship when you're not doing nothing for me either? So Dr. Pepper does tell him about himself a little bit, that, he needs to give Kirsten a chance. Kirsten a chance. And need to bring out his masculine desireness self, since she's starting to feel rejected by him. Just because of what people were saying on Twitter in the beginning of the season about Shaquille, when she said masculine, I'm like, why are you saying this, Dr. Pepper? Is there, sometimes I just really feel like y'all be seeing stuff that I don't be seeing. And then when I be watching other reviewers and reading people's comments on Twitter, I'm just like, dang, like, I just really, like, things just be going over my head. But okay, Yeah, bring out the masculine. I'm not gonna lie though. To the end of the episode, I'm like, oh, okay, Shaquille, this is a whole new side. I haven't seen this side of you this whole season. So okay, I'll give you guys that. But I'm just like, I just need to do more on body language. I need to read a book on body language. I just need to learn a little bit more because y'all be on point. For me, I'm just like, maybe that's just the way he is. But he brought up something the last 5 minutes of the episode. We then move on to Clint. He zooms his little friend David. Clint be zooming everybody. This season, he just be zooming each and every one of his family and friends for 5 minutes. Okay. Don't y'all live in the same city? You can't just meet up with them for lunch or whatever, because homeboy hanging out by his pool in his backyard. And you at the bar on your laptop. Anywho, so he zooms a friend to tell him about how his marriage is going so far. He wants to know more about Gina, because she's very surface level with her, how she's doing, all that stuff. So David said to give Gina more time to get more comfortable so that way she can open up, and maybe they need to have a margarita night. That's it to take from that situation. I think Clint mentioned that they do have something going on, but we never see it. So then we move on to Eris. He gets Jasmine some sunflowers before they go see Dr. Pepper. He says something about Eve is all her fault. Everybody else is cool, but Eve is all her fault. What done happened in the Bible and the snake and the fruit and all that stuff. So it's all her fault. Jasmine just laughing like she could care less. And then they go to see Dr. Pepper and they sit down. Jasmine does get a little emotional about how she's feeling in the marriage because she built herself up, built her confidence up so much. And now it's like she's in a relationship where homeboy don't even want her. So Dr. Pepper is asking her, did you ever think that it may not be about you? So Jasmine said, no, I never thought that. So then it goes to commercial for dramatic effect, comes back from commercial for dramatic effect, and that's when Doctor puts the lights on Eris of, he's 39 years old and he's still afraid to fall in love and all this stuff. So then that's when Eris kind of reiterates, he said it earlier in the season, but could never talk, but reiterates the fact that, losing his father when he was younger and losing a friend due to the friend taking his own life, he's afraid to kind of get vulnerable and love someone because he's afraid of them leaving him on this earth and probably just in general. So that's him putting, what's the word? People say it all the time. Pushing his insecurities and fear projecting onto the other person. So Dr. Pepper asked if he came on the show to keep him from running. So then Eris, he admitted that, yes, that is why he came on the show. I'm just paraphrasing. They didn't ask this word for word, but for the most part, I'm just paraphrasing what Dr. Pepper done asked and what Eris done answered. So he does admit that he did do that, and Dr. Pepper tells Jasmine she got her work cut out for her. Jasmine does a little nervous laugh, but I'm just like, you guys are the ones that pair them together, so this is on y'all. Don't put this on Jasmine, Dr. Pepper. This is on y'all. Like I said, I don't think the experts really be picking these people for each other. I think it's the producers. But don't say Jasmine got her work cut out for her, because for what? Listen, Eris is a grown-ass man, and Jasmine don't need to be trying to put pieces together for him. He needs to figure that out himself, and then when he's good and ready, then he could go find himself a forever bait, forever woman, wife, whatever he want them to be to him. So, no, don't just be like, oh, you got your work cut out. No, because she already half foot out the door at this point from what we see for the rest of the episode. So, lastly, Dr. Pepper says that she needs to give him support and they need to stick to their commitments because they made a commitment to each other. She don't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. Other than Dr. Viviana, she's not on this show no more, good for her. But, do we ever just realize this is not going to work and just be like, you guys just need to cut it quits? Or are we just going to continue to try to force them to be together and then until decision day and then be upset when they don't want to be together on decision day or 2 hours after decision day? Can we ever just be 100% honest? But no, we can't, because it wouldn't be a show if it was, right? Anywho, we move on to Kirsten and Shaquille. They eat dinner and work on a logo for Kirsten's business. I keep wanting to say Kirsten. For Kirsten's business. And I guess because Shaquille was doing such a good job on a logo, she's like, oh, maybe you need to help me out with my website too. So then he said he will, because she asked him for an invoice. He's like, you think I'm going to charge you? So she's like, oh, no, she could pay him in other ways. He looking at her like, oh, excuse me? I'm looking at her like, what? Krista, let me find out you starting to feel homeboy Shaquille. I mean, by the end of the episode, it seemed like she really was. But I'm just like, okay. This is what done changed. Like, I know she was already starting to feel rejected from last episode, but I'm like, oh, what's going on here? This is interesting. This is I still have to look with squinted eyes, because I'm just like, are we just gonna just try to enjoy the rest of the time, and then you're just gonna drop the ball, be like it ain't gonna happen, or like, just doing this for the TV show, like for the cameras? I don't know, but I don't know, I'm speechless, flabbergasted. Okay, and we moved in on to 23 days until decision day. Chris and Nicole sit with Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper tells them to continue doing what they're doing. There's nothing else to take from that. Their conversation, of course they both have insecurities. And I think for the most part, this whole season thus far, that's all they talk about. Their past relationships and their insecurities. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like, can we talk about something else? Like, we keep talking about how the past affected them to this day. Like, the going through what they did in the past is kind of like why they're kind of effed up right now. But it's just like, okay, you can see you're effed up, more so on Nicole's part. But what are we doing to overcome that effed upness? Like, are we talking to somebody? Or are we just going to keep telling Chris, like, you're just, you don't know how to overcome, and you're just waiting for the ball to drop? Which we'll get to in a moment, I guess. But, I mean, like I said, there was nothing else to take from that conversation with Dr. Pepper, because they both really enjoying each other's time, and they're progressing. They're the most ones this season so far, this second of this scene, that progressed the most out of all the couples on season 16. So there you have it. We then get to the couples ask each other questions that the experts gave to them to go over. We start off with Eris and Jasmine. Now, I think I remember when she said it, but Eris said Jasmine wants to get into deeper conversations with him, like him and her have deeper conversations to get to know each other. So he's asking her the questions that the experts gave. She can't answer not name one. She's just like, I don't know, next one. Well, no, I kind of already told you that, so next one. And, when we get to one of the questions, I guess, about your deepest regret, that wasn't the exact question, but it was more or less about your deepest regret. So Eris does get deep and, talking about his friend that, unfortunately took his own life. And when we get to Jasmine, she's just like, well, I don't really know. Like, I don't think I really have a deepest regret. Because when he initially asked her, she said, oh, yeah, you go first while I think of something. And then when it was her turn again, she couldn't say nothing. So it's just like, for him, he was a little annoyed. And I can agree, like, okay, I mean, she did explain and admit multiple times that she's not the best communicator. But if you're saying you want something, but you're not even really trying to work towards doing what you said you want, what are we doing here? But at the other end, on her side, I'm just like, she's just probably checked out. She's checking out. Because it's like, we're already halfway into this thing, and now you want to act like you trying to work towards something when I already know it ain't going to be nothing. So why am I going to try my hardest and try to connect with you when you haven't even attempted to connect with me other than getting my pants in the first week? So I can see why he's annoyed, but at the same time, I can see why she's just like, I'm not going to try to do my all for someone that is not even feeling me. So I'm on the fence on this one. But we're going to move on. Okay, we get to Dr. Pepper. She sits with Gina and Clint. And Dr. Pepper wants Gina to be more vulnerable. But then Gina explains, growing up with a single mom. It's harder for her to be vulnerable around men as opposed to women. And Dr. Pepper's like, well, in order for this to work, you gotta show your vulnerability, have the deeper conversations. And Clint and Gina kind of both point the fingers to each other in regards to that, because Clint's just like, well, she needs to be open. I'm open about my feelings, and I feel like she needs to be open about her feelings. Gina's like, well, he doesn't ask me, so it's like, I'm not gonna really forthcome with that information out of the blue. Like, but if you ask me specific questions about my past, I can answer them and then, open up to be vulnerable. Clint's like, well, I don't think that's authentic, of getting to the crust, because that's why this whole title of this episode is The Crust, because Clint has a way with words, literally. So he can't get to the crust and doesn't think it's authentic of getting to the crust if he has to ask questions. But at the same time, Clint, if you're trying to get to know her and you see that she's not open, why would you not ask the questions? Maybe it's because I ask a lot of questions. God bless my husband. I have to say this all the time because I ask a lot of questions. And I'm sure there was times where he was just like, oh my gosh, babe, please shut up. Like, I already answered 50 questions. Please, can we just chill, watch the TV? So for me, it's like, I will ask those questions. I will try to get deep. Okay, so for him, it's like, you want her to be vulnerable, but you don't even want to ask the question. So, like I said, if you know she's not being open with you, why not ask the questions? I don't know. I just feel like they both just want to always point the finger at the other person, and they want to play the victim and what. Okay, let's grow up here, guys. You guys are old enough. You know how to have a conversation. Okay. Anywho, anything else to take from this? No, Dr. Pepper said that they have to help each other out. So we'll see if that works. We didn't get to 22 days until decision day. So now Chris and Nicole, they work out together and they're asking the questions that the experts gave them. This is where we find out they both have insecurities, but we're not really finding it out because they've been talking about that since day one. And this is where Chris said he never felt like he was worthy enough or of the female's love. So I love how Nicole likes to make sure that Chris builds his confidence, but it's just like at the same time, she's insecure as well. So it's just interesting that I feel like not even just her, but a lot of people, you can make sure to give a good advice to someone who may have insecurities or lack self-esteem, but you then can't in turn take your own advice and build yourself up to be confident and have self-esteem. And she, at the same time, like I said, has insecurities as well. And this is where she explains that she's just afraid that things are too perfect and kind of waiting for the ball to drop. She don't say that word for word. I'm just going to paraphrase it because she goes around it but doesn't really say what it is, which is she's just waiting for the ball to drop because things are too perfect. And from her past, it's like something always happens. So that's why she thinks something going to happen with this relationship too. Once again, Nicole, you're probably going to need to talk to somebody because you projecting all your insecurities on homeboy. Homeboy got insecurities already in itself. So this is kind of toxic, emotionally toxic. So both of y'all probably need to talk to somebody and to build yourselves up before you guys could probably think of getting into a relationship with somebody. But you guys are already in a relationship, so we'll see how that works out. Anything else? No, not really. We get to Jasmine. Jasmine's mom, Yvette, she sits down. She comes to visit Aries to sit down and talk with him. And I'm looking at Yvette. I'm like, yep, your daughter looks just like you. It's funny when you look at parents and kids and just like, oh yeah, I see the resemblance. But they sit down to talk about how marriage is going thus far. Aries tells Yvette his frustrations with Jasmine, how she don't want to get into deeper conversations, even though that's what she asked for. They even talk about sex, the fact that they're waiting until after decision day to have sex. And the mom pretty much just said they both overthink a lot and they need to get out of their heads and out of their comfort zones. Whether or not homeboy Eric's going to take that advice, I doubt it. He's probably just going to ride the ride until the end of this whole season and experiment. So, good advice, Miss Yvette, but it's really not going to do nothing. Okay. Then we get to Clint and Hank and Gina, they are laying down, sitting down on the bed, going over the questions that the experts gave them. And I think it went well. Clint appreciates and loves that he's getting to learn Gina and why she is so independent and so about her money and her business, all that stuff. So it went well. Nothing else to take from that. I think it was just one of a little cute scenes to watch, to make us happy. But then we're going to get to the final part of this review. We're going to get to the last scene. Shaquille and Kirsten. Okay. First off, why is Shaquille's shirt inside out? I was looking at that. I'm like, I'm sure you know your shirt inside out. Kirsten didn't tell you your shirt was inside out, or she probably told you they just cut it out because you was just like, I don't care. I'm going to still wear it inside out. Anywho, he sets up a body paint activity for him and Kirsten. So Kirsten comes through the door. She's like, oh, what do we have here? And she's like, okay, we doing some body paint. Let me go change. She changed and I'm just like, okay. Even Shaq was like, dang, girl. I'm like, okay, Kirsten, look at you, showing some skin, okay? Not that she didn't show skin before, but I'm just like, oh, you ready for this activity, huh? Because that's what wow. So then she stands on the little coffee table and he starts painting her with the paint. The paint's cold, so, not to get graphic or nothing, but, the nippleage, starts to poke out through her little shirt, tank top thing, crop top. And, oh, wow. And I'm just like, okay, things are progressing here, because then after he paints her up, he went to the fridge, got some little strawberries and some whipped cream, asking, he want to put some bass in his voice, saying, you trust me, girl. He don't say it like that, I'm dramatic, but you trust me? She's like, yeah, I trust you. So then he sprays whipped cream in her mouth. And then he puts a strawberry in his mouth. His mouth or her mouth? I think his mouth. It don't matter. The strawberry goes in somebody's mouth, okay? And they lock lips. And I'm not talking about like a little mouth wide open. So whoever the strawberry's mouth was in, so half of the strawberry go in the other person's mouth, because they just going to town. And I'm just like, this can't be no first kiss. Y'all had a kiss before. What is going on? How we go from I'ma turn the cheek if I ain't feeling him, if he ugly, he got a bald head and all that, to swapping food from each other's mouths. Okay, he sit down on the chair and stuff, and she kind of give him a little dance, a miniature lap dance. She's sitting on his lap, and they just kissing, and I'm just like, what is this? What? Huh? So then after that, they how it is, okay? When you listen, we all grown here, okay? When you get in the mood, you have your voice gets soft or deep. It gets into a seductive tone, and they were talking in those seductive tones, and I'm just like, oh, just something gonna happen. And they proceed to leave America and the camera people in the living room. They left us hanging. They left us in the living room, and they went to the bedroom. They closed the door, and I'm pretty sure they locked the door. To do what? I don't know. But from the previews of what's going to happen with the rest of the season, they're going to consummate the marriage. So maybe that was the night they consummated the marriage. I don't know. But I'm just like, so y'all just all dandy now, everything is all cool. But then I'm confused, because when they're showing still to come in the season, we're seeing, what's his name? Shaquille giving Jasmine some words of encouragement, saying she's beautiful and stuff. So it's like, are y'all about to get together? Because we already know Clint and what her name, Dominique, gonna be locking lips. We see, what's his name? McKinley gonna be sliding into Gina's DMs. So is Aries and Kirsten gonna get to, what is going on here? I don't know. Season 16 is very interesting, but not interesting at the same time. The ending had me really like, okay, but at the same time, like, okay. I don't know, guys. That was the end of the episode. I'm lost of words. I'm speechless. But that's it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you laughed at least once, please subscribe. And please comment what you thought, especially about Kirsten and Shaquille. Because I'm still kind of like happy but confused at the same damn time. I hope I'm not the only one. Anyway, be easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.